I am California of the past.
I am California of the past. I am California of the past.
I often hear the reference made to the Christmas Eve wreck of the Southern Pacific. I was coming down Gary Avenue from home. I lived at 570 North Gary at that time, and I heard the noise, the rush of this train, and it was very noticeable. And I stopped at Monterey Street and looked west. And as I did, all I saw was just a blurred green sign go by. And shortly after that, I heard the terrific crash. I hurried and I walked through the depot ground. Mr. Nance of the Pacific Hotel and Mr. Keller from the Keller Hotel on South Thomas Street were standing there, and they were wondering what had delayed the train. I said, "Gentlemen, that train is not going to arrive here." And by that time, the people began to run from all directions, and they sounded the alarm, the fire bell for emergency, and I walked west on the Southern Pacific Road to the, well, it was right at Cypress Street where the train was wrecked. There's two cars, the two rear cars were left the track. Well, I think the rear car was still on the track, but the next one was headed shortly down Cypress Street. The baggage car was thrown clear from the track, clear over to the main track, and was laying on its side. The smoking car and the accommodation smoker and baggage car were alongside between the two, and the engine was reversed entirely, turned around, and it was becoming dark. I know we walked in there, and somebody said, "Look out." And I just in time, because somebody had just walked out of a great big pool of oil had drained from the engine. But it was a terrible thing. It just seemed to throw cars everywhere. I recall the baggageman at that time. I can't remember his second name. His first name, they called him Doc. Doc was in the baggage car, but the baggage car evidently was so full that he was protected, and he went that entire distance in that baggage car and was not injured at all to speak of. And the engineer and the fireman, the engineer wasn't killed outright. I think the fireman was killed at the time. The engineer was died that night. They had an emergency hospital. They took him at the fire hall, the upstairs of the fire hall, and then the old Pacific Hotel. The number of the injured was taken there. We had no hospital at that time, and they had to care for them wherever they could. That is a wreck that the only, I recall, other than the only passenger killed in that wreck was the mother of Mr. Paul Connor. She was killed at that time. I know the baseball team, I can't remember, I think it was San Bernardino. They were played under the San Bernardino team, and they had returning on that train from their successful game in Los Angeles that day. Billy Thurman, Monroe Thurman were on that train. Monroe Thurman got an injured arm. He had I remember he carried it till his death, a crooked wrist. He had his arm broken in the accident. And I think that covers pretty much my recollection of that wreck, but it was a terrific wreck. About 1 o'clock the following morning, Christmas morning, there was quite a shake, and these injured being on the top floor of the old Pacific Hotel, they disturbed them quite a bit at that time.